up fam, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a great day today. In this video we're going to be talking about the INFINITI Q50. I have owned the car for about a year and 4 months already, so I really wanted to talk about the type of issues that I've had with the car. For the most part, I've had 2 problems with the car, nothing serious actually. We were able to take it to a dealer. They were able to fix it just because it was under warranty. But this is a 2018 INFINITI Q50 with 50,000 miles. We just hit 50,000 miles like a few days ago, and it's because we daily this car. We take it to work every single day, so we do actually drive the car, and we're able to kind of tell you what kind of issues we've had with the car. Now the reason I want to talk about this is because I always get questions all the time. What kind of issues have I had with the car, if I've had any? And there's always questions, or there's always questions on the forums, what kind of issues they had. But I feel like the people that do actually have issues with the car are usually the people that have a lot to say, and the people that don't have any issues with the car are usually very quiet and don't really say much just because they haven't had any issues. So why even mention anything in the forums, right? That's why I really want to talk about this. I get a lot of questions. I really want to talk to you guys about it. For those of you that are actually interested and seeing what it costs to pretty much maintain this car, fix any issues that it actually has. So that's why I really wanted to go over this with you guys in this video today. So let's go ahead and get started with the first problem. Like I mentioned, this is a 2018 Lux. So that is like the base model. It's not the Red Sport or the Sport model. I upgraded a lot of parts onto the car. So if you're interested in watching what I've actually done to the car, make sure to check out my other videos. All right, so the first issue that I want to talk about is going to be the belt problem. So believe it or not, this is a 2018 model, and we still had the belt issue after, I believe INFINITI has stated that after 2018 models, the issue was actually fixed. But we still had the issue with this 2018 model as well. The way we figured out that there was an issue with the belt is when we would turn it on in the morning, it started making a squeaking sound, as before it didn't at all. Like, it was just completely normal, no sounds at all. So we left it alone for a bit. We thought that it was just like a simple problem. Maybe it was just because it was cold out that it was just starting making noise, because it would just go away after like a minute of the car warming up. And then after a week or so of driving the car, we noticed that the squeaking noise actually started happening when we were driving the car normally, which at that point it wasn't normal because the car doesn't really squeak at all when you're driving. So at that point we took it into the dealer. They checked it out. They said it was a belt issue, and they also aligned the compressor as well, because usually the problem comes from the compressor not being aligned properly. So they went ahead and did that. After that, we have had no issues since then. I believe it's been about 15,000 miles since we've actually done that, and the issue hasn't came back at all. So the dealer has to actually go ahead and realign the compressor, take off the old belt and install the new one in order for the issue not to really come back at all. We haven't had any issues anymore since then, so I'm pretty sure that has solved the problem. But the belt never actually snapped on us. We just took it in and they replaced it, and we haven't had any issues since. So that's the first problem. I've had stories of people say that they were just driving normally, they never had an issue at all, and it just snapped on them. That could be true, but for me, I didn't really hear the sound at all when I had the music on. You really have to listen to the car, turn the music all the way down, and then really listen for that sound. That's the only way that you're gonna really hear the sound, is if you turn the music off and then you just listen really quietly. That's the only way we were able to pretty much figure out the problem. So then we took it in and they were able to replace it under warranty. The car is still under warranty, so that's why they replaced it. That's one issue, but it's something that should be pretty cheap and they can replace. It's just a belt. You could even do it yourself. I believe there's a diagram for you guys to check out in order for you to be able to do the belt issue or fix the belt problem yourself. So it's something really easy, not very complicated, but still it's just an issue that we shouldn't really have, to be completely honest with you. Like, I have a 370Z and I've never had any belt issues with that one, so I don't know why we have belt issues with this one. Maybe it is just that problem with the AC compressor not being aligned properly, but that's one of the main issues that we had with this car. There's a diagram of how the belt will look if it's misaligned. I'll leave a picture somewhere right here so that way you guys can kind of see how it looks like. But the belt is supposed to be aligned at a certain point, and if it's not at that point, that means it's misaligned, and you have to take it into the dealer for them to realign it for you. But usually if you hear any sound, I would just take it in if you're under warranty. So that was the first problem that we had with the car. Now going over to the second problem, the right strut, or the passenger strut, we did have issues with. And the second issue that we actually had with the car is going to be the front passenger strut. The front passenger strut actually went out on us. It was really hard to tell where the sound was coming from, but it was like a clunking sound. We heard it coming from the front. I wasn't really sure what it was at the beginning. It took me a while to really realize what was coming from, because it wasn't really making any noise in the beginning. It was just a small sound, and after a while it just got worse. The only way we were able to hear it is when we were driving at a low speed. When we're driving at a low speed, it would make a clunking sound, and it wouldn't really come up after we picked up speed. So like after, I would say, 15 miles an hour, that's when the sound would just go away. But we would hear the sound when we were going at like a low RPM, or we were going at a low speed. Now, the second way I was able to figure out how the sound was actually happening, or where it was coming from, I was able to diagnose the issue by doing an old trick that I usually do, and I'm trying to figure out if something's wrong with the car, is I jump on the actual side of the car. So usually I would put my legs right here, and I would just jump up and down just to hear any noises. And when I would do that, the noise would come from the front, the passenger side, and it wasn't really coming from anywhere else. So that's how I kind of figured out that it was a strut. So, but it was also hard to figure out if it was even the strut. It could have been just something else that was loose. So I did take the car in, I had them check it out. They did actually confirm that it was a strut. So they went ahead and replaced everything for free. I was not charged at all. They did everything and they didn't charge me. So that was cool. But the problem was that they didn't replace any other struts. They said that just because this one was having issues, that's the only one that they could replace, which to me didn't make sense, because if one's going out, why not replace all four? But they said that they couldn't, just because it was only the strut, and that the rest of them would they would just leave as is. So a few weeks later, I actually ended up picking up some coilovers. They did replace everything, but I picked up some coilovers just so I can change them all out, because to me, if one's going out, most likely the rest will be going out as well very soon. So I just bought some brand new coilovers and installed it onto the car. That way we don't have any issues. So the dealer did replace everything. They didn't charge me for nothing. Everything was free. The car is under warranty, of course, so they covered everything, and I had no problems with that. And ever since, I haven't had any issues, and the sound completely went away. And now that's pretty much going to be it. Those are the only issues that I've actually had with the car since I've owned it for the year and 4 months that we've actually had it. So there's been no issues with the car really at all. Keep in mind that I do my oil changes every 4,000 to 5,000 miles. So I don't actually wait like 10,000 miles to do every oil change. I actually do every 4 to 5, and it's just something that I've always done. So including that as well, I'll include the prices. But let's go ahead and talk about like maintenance costs and everything, how much you've actually spent. So we purchased a car with about 31,000 miles on it. The car has 50,000 right now. So we put about 20,000 miles in the time that we've had it. We have done a total about 4 oil changes. I think it's actually about 5, because when we first purchased the car, I believe we did an oil change right away, just because we weren't sure how long the oil has actually been in there. So we did an oil change, so it's about 5. The first 4 times we actually took it to Nissan, they charged 40 to 50 bucks to do an oil change. And then when you took it to Infiniti, for some reason they charged 90, and they use the same oil. I actually checked with Nissan what kind of oil they used, and I also checked with Infiniti, and it's the same exact one. After calculating that together, you're looking at about, I would say, 250, a little bit more, to do an oil change for the car for that full time that we've actually had it. So depending on where you go, if you go to Infiniti, if you go to Nissan, you're going to be spending about $50 to $90 to do an oil change. Now, another maintenance cost that you have to take into consideration is going to be brake pads. Nissan quoted us, I think it was about 400 bucks to do brake pads, which is actually quite a lot, because you can spend, like, I would say about, I would have to check the prices on the brake pads, but I don't think it's anything more than 40 bucks to get some brake pads for the front and the rear. I'll double check and link it down and show you guys pictures as well, how much you would spend to do it on your own, because it's relatively easy to do brake pads on your own. Just a few bolts you got to remove and place them in yourself. So $400 is actually quite a bit. So what I did instead is I upgraded the small brakes to big brakes, and that cost me about 500 to 600 bucks. I was able to upgrade them and get new pads as well, doing the installation myself. So that saved me a lot of money. You can also add about 400 bucks onto that if you do the brake pads through the dealership. So that's quite a bit as well. Now, another thing that we also did is going to be the fluid flush. We did do a full flush on the car. After we did like the heat exchanger and everything, pretty much changed out all the fluids on the car, making sure everything was brand new. And that cost about 400 bucks. It was a maintenance thing that they had to do on the car. And because the car's still under warranty, and I want to make sure everything is like performing properly and that everything is on record, is why I still take it to dealership. If not, I would actually do it myself. But by them doing everything is pretty much showing that we've been taking it in. So if any issues come with the car or anything happens to the car, we can take it in and say we've been taking it here, you guys didn't notice any issues, there's nothing done to the car. So then now everything's covered under warranty. So that's the main reason I take it now, for them to check everything, just so we don't have any issues with the problem and everything can be covered under warranty. So if you calculate everything together, the oil changes was about $250, and then put in the about $400 to do the full flush and everything on every single thing. That's about $650. And then also the brake pads, so they were going to charge about $400 for that, $650, so that's another $400. So you're looking already spending $1,000 and something on maintenance cost. All right, so we went ahead and talked about oil changes, we went ahead and talked about the fluid flushes, and we went ahead and talked about the brake pads. Now another thing you have to consider is going to be, of course, gas. So gas, it depends on where you live, how much gas is going to be. In our area, we put about 40 to 50 bucks to fill it up, so that's every week. Now multiply that times 4 for the month, that's about 160, somewhere around there. So if you multiply that for the year, you're looking close to $2,000. So the 1,000 on top of 2,000, that's about $3,000 in maintenance costs that I've actually done to the car for the year. So it's actually quite a bit. So if you guys are interested in picking up a car like this, and I just wanted to give you guys an idea how much you're going to be spending to have a car like this, and also to be able to maintain it and everything, you're looking to spend $3,000 out of pocket just to maintain it. And then if you plan on doing mods, that's going to be, of course, a little bit more. So when you do like a heat exchanger, you still have to get it flushed after that. Of course, when you do the brakes like this, you have to install it. If you take it somewhere else, you have to pay for that as well. So doing stuff yourself actually saves you a lot of money. I recommend it. Anybody can do it, honestly. If I can do it, a lot of you guys can do it as well. It's just something that I learned doing it on my own. I'm not a professional or anything, so me doing it on my own, I save tons of money just on doing stuff like this. Like a big brake install, that's gonna easily run you, maybe labor depending on how long they take, 500 bucks just to install some big brakes. So it's actually quite a bit. So I do save a lot of money just doing this stuff on my own. But also I take it in, make sure everything's done correctly. Like the heat exchanger, you have to make sure it's flushed correctly. So it just depends on what you actually do, how much everything's gonna cost. So we also had to do an alignment, added that on top of that, just depending on if you mod your car. But if your car is stock and you just leave it and you just do your regular maintenance, so it's gonna be about $3,000 to maintain it. Make sure you're doing all of your oil changes and everything throughout the year, just to make sure everything's running properly. We bought the car with about 31,000 miles. The car's at 50 right now, so we put about 20,000 miles in the year and about 4 months that we've had it. So we do actually daily the car, so we can tell you exactly like what's gone on with the car here and there. So there is talk about turbo issues with the car. With our experience, we haven't really had any. I think it just depends on how the person treats the car, how they maintain it. Usually I've seen people that do have issues are people that mod the car. Of course, ours has mods to it, but we don't like mistreat it. We're not over boosting the car. I usually leave the car on a really low map. Like this car is never going over map 5. So I have a JB4. That car is never going over that, just because the car is not meant to be a race car. It's meant to be like a luxury car, a daily driver. So that's the reason why I don't over boost the car. I'm keeping it at a reasonable level, just so we don't have any issues. But before that, even when I didn't have like a heat exchanger, the car was only at map 1. I would never go any higher than that. I haven't changed any of the settings, just to make sure the car is running properly and we don't have any issues with it. But of course, there's also lemon cars out there. There's also people that just randomly have issues, which can happen. I mean, cars aren't perfect. They do have issues here and there, but it's something that you're gonna have to deal with, honestly. If you just purchase this car, there's nothing that you can really do. You can take it in for warranty work. They can usually cover it. I've seen a lot of people that have issues that aren't modded, that they easily just replace everything under warranty, no problems at all. But as soon as you start adding some type of modifications to the car, you're really messing with it, because I get a lot of questions all the time. Will the dealer cover this? Will the dealer cover that if I have this on the car, if I install this? And it's honestly really up to the dealer. Like, I can't tell you yes, they're gonna cover it, because it's really up to the dealer if they want to. Some dealers are really gonna be cool with you about it. But like, oh, okay, this is cool, yeah, there's no problems. But then you're gonna have dealers that say, oh, okay, just because you have an exhaust, we're not gonna cover it. But there's of course laws here and there. I have talked to a few people here in Arizona about things that are covered, things that won't cover it. And usually the first thing that they say is that the dealer has to really point out or be able to show you proof that the part that you installed actually caused the issue and caused the problem. And that's something that you would have to discuss it with the dealer, talk to them about it, see if they're going to cover it. And that's just something that you have to face with. If you're going to mod the car, you're pretty much risking getting anything covered by the dealer under warranty. So I can't tell you if something's going to be covered. I know I get a lot of these questions all the time. It's really up to you. If you want to do it, you take your own risks. Again, if they don't cover, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this video really useful. For those of you that are looking into purchasing an INFINITI Q50, pretty much maintenance cost and everything, I'll put it down here how much I've actually spent. And this is for, of course, a stock car, not including like mods and everything that I have to do after that. So for those of you guys that are interested in purchasing this car, I hope this really helps you out. If you have any questions, any comments, concerns, feel free to leave down a comment below. And also, you guys can message me on Instagram. I do write and speak Spanish fluently. If you speak Spanish and don't really know English very well, you can go ahead and message me on Instagram or leave a comment down below, and I'll go ahead and help you guys out as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will be doing another video again on the JB4, going over how it's been doing since I've had it. I've had it for, I would say, about half a year already. Since I've pretty much bought the JB4 and installed it onto the car. So I really want to go over that. I get a lot of questions on that, if it's even worth it. So I'll be going over that as well. But again, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.